go. Okay, so, all right, so here's what I want to do. To get back to what I was just saying to you, you want to do as much work out here as possible. And by the way, for the class, Lori came in and Lori was having a little bit of a problem with the masking. So what I've decided to do is I've decided to take it from where she has it and walk through the process. It shouldn't take an awful long time, and it relates to what I'm going to do anyway, because after I get done with this, I'm going to work on the horses, which is the other part of the assignment for this week. So just look at this as kind of like a review and a little preliminary tease to what we're about to do again with the horses. All this was done last night. All right, so as I say, your problem, Lori, is you got a little bit of crud in here. And the reason I call that crud is because if you'll notice, it's kind of dark, and it's going to be very hard for me to get rid of. It is actually easier for me, instead of trying to bleach it out using the the levels. I'm sorry, the levels. It's easier to cut it away, and that's what I did last night. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. So I'm going to come in here now, and I'm going to zoom in on this area so I can get a closer look at it. Okay, and I'm going to do this with the polygon lasso tool. So I'm going to come in here, and as I said last night, you know, if I were really going to do this, you know, if I was going to really spend the time to do this, I would spend a whole lot more time on it. But since I only got 2 hours, I really can't do it like as cleanly as I would really like to do it. So as you can see, all I'm doing is I'm running along the outline of the guy's body, okay? And I'm making sure that I'm not getting into the gray area that I want to go away. I'm on his body, okay? And I'm just working down his body, and I'll probably do this in a couple of shots because it's easier that way, okay? So I'm going to come up here like this to where I started, okay? So you see what I did?
Yep.
You have no problem with that, right?
Correct.
Okay, I have this is my fill and my stroke, or actually my foreground and my background in Photoshop. And in order for me to get rid of this gray here, I need it to be white. So I have white in the foreground. I'm going to swap it by using the switch foreground and background. Now I got white. Now I get my brush tool, and I just come in here. I'm on my masked layer, and I come in here, and I just paint it away.
Yep.
That's all there is to it. Get rid of that, okay? Then I can go select, deselect, and you see that's more than good enough for our purposes, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So now I'm going to zoom down a little bit here. You know what? Actually, I'm going to zoom in just a bit more because I actually think I can. There we go. A little bit more. That's probably good right there. Let me come down and let me do around his hand. So again, I'm going to get where did it go? The polygon lasso tool. I'm going to start right there, and I'm going to come down. Again, I'm sort of as carefully as I can. And as I say, the longer you take doing this, the more effort you put into doing this, the better it will be. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, so mine isn't going to be as good as it probably should be. But it's just the point I'm trying to show you how to go about doing this. See, I'm already messing this up, but it's all right. Like I say, it'll be close enough for our purpose. You just keep working around until you isolate his hand. And what you're trying to do is we're trying to get the hand so that I can get rid of that. I can get rid of this gray on the outside.
You know, when I originally did this bill, I even cut out in between his fingers there. Was I not?
Yeah, you could do that. I'm not going to bother because I'm just trying to give you an idea of the steps. And this step, I think you probably get. This is not where your problem is.
Right.
But I have to do this really in order to get where I need to go. Okay, so again, I'm going to come around here to where I started, right about there. Okay? And then again, get my paintbrush tool. And I'm just going to paint it white. Okay, get rid of that color. Okay, and that's good enough for our purpose. Select, deselect. And now I just got a little bit more to do up there. I'm going to do this area right here. And I'm going to come up. I'm just going to carve this stuff away. Now, the reason that I'm carving this away, like I said, is because it's a little bit darker than I can handle when I use my levels to get rid of it. It's just
Yeah.
a little bit too much. So it's easier to just spend about 5 minutes, which I bet you I don't even spend 5 minutes doing this. I just better to go in here and just cut it right away like I'm doing here. Okay, see now I'm almost there.
Yep.
There we go. And then I'm just going to paint it out again.
Yep.
All right, so now I go select, deselect, and now you can go view, fit on screen. There we go. And the rest of this gray that you see here, this gray here, I can take care of that gray using levels. I just could not take care of that dark gray using levels over here. Okay. All right. So now is when, Lori, now is when we jump into, hi, Raven. How you doing tonight? I just got a question for you, Raven. How you doing? Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Have you been doing any work on this yet?
I did some of it today.
How's it going?
It's going okay.
You having any problems with it, or is it working all right for you?
It's working out okay.
Okay, I got Lori's working. I'm working on something for her just shortly to get her back on track. So just watch this. This is kind of like what we're going to be doing shortly anyway with the horses. That's the next thing. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Let me just finish up with Lori here, okay? So, Lori, we have our channels, and the purpose of the channels is we're going to pull a mask from the channels. So what we want to do when we're looking to create a mask, we're looking for contrast. And as you can see here, look at by his shoulder. There's absolutely no contrast in here. There's no way that I could use this particular channel because there's no contrast. Right? You understand?
Yeah,
okay.
And I think I went with blue.
Yeah. So yeah. And now can you see there's some contrast here? So if I were stuck, I could probably use this one. But blue, I think, is the one. Do you see how much contrast there is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's really important that you understand that everything we're doing, there's a purpose for it. And by choosing the correct channel, what we're doing is we're trying to establish the channel that's going to give you the best contrast to start with. We're going to use levels to improve that contrast, but we start off by picking the channel that has the most contrast to begin with. And Lori, Raven, all of you in the class, this goes for every part of the assignment you're working on. When we work on the horse, we're going to do the same thing that we're doing here. So this isn't really wasted effort here. It's just a little thing I'm doing for Lori. It relates exactly to what we're going to be doing through this whole project. So I'm going to duplicate the blue layer. Okay, now did you do that, Lori?
No, I did not, and I think.
Okay, this is probably the first place you started to go wrong.
Okay.
So you're gonna duplicate it, and you're gonna call it mask. I only call it mask because then this way I know it's not the blue channel. I know it's the mask. Right. So I'm going to call it mask. I'm going to go to image, adjust, and I'm going to go to levels.
Right.
Okay. Now I'm choosing levels because levels gives me the opportunity to tinker with the darks, the midtones, and the lights. And I have light area here. I have midtone areas here, and I have darks there. The object is to take my midtones and my darks and maximize them and remove the little bit of gray fringing outside of his figure. That's my goal. And that's why doing levels makes the most sense. Okay? Now notice what this channel says. Do you see what the channel says?
Mask.
Right. So by me renaming this mask, I can even check to make sure that what I'm about to do will work on the right channel, because in spite of the fact that this is a red, blue, and green channel, this mask is still a channel. It's just a mask channel. And it's going to become high contrast, black and white. I'm going to use it to mask this guy in our regular layers. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just tweak the white up just a little bit, and I'm going to knock that white away. Do you see how easy that was? There's still a little bit there, so I probably will drag it a little bit further up to get rid of that. I don't want to drag it any more than I have to.
Yeah.
I'm going to say probably right about there is good. Now, the key here is the blacks and the midtones. If I take the midtones and go towards the black, the midtones are going to lighten up. That's not what I want. So I'm going to start off by taking the black, and I'm going to bring the black towards the white. And what that's going to do is it's going to take all the black pixels, and it's going to make them much darker. Can you see the black pixels getting darker?
Certainly.
So I'm going to come over quite a bit, and then I don't know, maybe that's probably good enough. Let's see what happens with the midtones now. So now I'm going to take the midtones, and I'm going to start slowly bringing the midtones over in the direction of the white. And can you see how he's getting darker and darker and darker and darker? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for him to get dark. So I probably bring the black up a little bit more. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the most black I can get out of this. I got to be careful doing it because I don't want to flood it, but I'm pretty much, I think I'm pretty much reaching my max here. So I'm bringing this thing right over close to that white. So there you go. You see it?
Yep.
Okay. Hit OK. Now if you take a look at your mask, you can see that that mask is basically pretty much black and white, isn't it?
Correct.
All right. So now my problem is I still got some hot spots of white in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on this guy a little bit so I can see this a little bit better. And
that's where I took my brush in black.
yeah, now I have black. That's what I'm going to be painting with. So I can take my brush in. I can start painting this black out. Okay? I'm going to just paint the black out. And I got to try to get all of it gone. And actually, I got this pretty dark, so I don't have as much white to paint out as I did, I think, last time. I really got this dark.
Less, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's okay. I think it'll be fine. So let me go down and see if there's anything down here. See, down here, this is all pretty black. I'm probably pretty good. Okay, so that is what, let's go view, fit, artboard, and window again, or fit on screen. That is what my mask should look like.
Right.
Okay, now that we've done this, here's what I'm going to do.
This is where I got stuck.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to come over here. I'm going to hit the Command key or the Control key, and I'm going to click on that little mask.
Now, does it matter whether it's Command or Control? Because I'm on
Well,
a Mac.
you're going to have to see what it is on mine. I'm on a PC. I hit the Control key and click it, and I get the dancing ants.
Okay, because that's where I did not get dancing ants.
Well, did you try the Command key then?
Yeah, and then that's when it turned, the black turned red. Really weird.
Well, you have to click on that little thumbnail and hold the Command key or the Control key. I'd say try it again because it's got to work.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I got my selection here. I am now going to go up to my layer, and I'm going to hit the Add Layer Mask button, and now my character is not showing. Problem is that he is got to be inverted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that little mask and see if I can invert it. I can't do it there, so I got to Image, Adjust, Invert. There we go. Okay, and there he is. He's been silhouetted.
Right.
Okay, that's what it takes to do this.
Okay.
Now, what I would do next is I would add a layer here, right here, okay? And what I would do is I'd fill the layer with maybe red or something just so I can see what I'm doing. Click on OK, fill it with red, and then just dump red in there. And now you can see what you got here. And he actually looks pretty good. The only thing, he's got a little bit of funk around his hair right there. And to fix that, what we do is we click on the mask, right-click it, and go Select and Mask. All right? And then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to use this tool right there, which is the Refine Edge tool. Now, what the Refine Edge tool is going to do is it's going to partially paint out the area. So you got to be careful doing this. You don't want to go deep into him. But I'm just going to go right by his hair, and right on the edge of his hair.
Oh, yeah.
You see, I'm carefully painting along just the edge of his hair, nothing else, and that's it. Once I reach right about there and I got the hair, I stop. Can you already see that the hair is basically gone?
Oh, yeah.
It's cleaned up?
Yep.
Right. Now, if I want to clean this up further, I would go into my refine edge and I would play with like the radius. I would maybe bring the radius up. I'd bring it up. I'll try it at 2. I'm going to try the feather. I'll feather it out a little bit. I got it at about 4. I'm going to smooth it by about 2, or let's see, 2, maybe 3. I'm just putting these numbers in. I have no idea whether these numbers are correct or not. I'm putting them in basically what I think they should be. I'm going to contrast this. I'll bring the contrast up to about 3 as well. And I'm going to shift the edge over by about 2. That's 3. I'll try 2. Let's see if I can get 2. There's 2. Okay? So these are just numbers that I think will work. So I'm going to hit OK. And there you go. Did you see it clean away?
Yep, very
and really, I would say that those numbers are pretty good because he looks darn good.
Yeah, it does.
And look at his hair. That's the whole point. See all that white crap that was around his hair? That's all gone. He looks pretty solid. What do you say?
I agree.
So that is how I did it, and that is probably where you got confused.
Probably. Yep. I think I got messed up with the blue channel layer, I think is where I made my mistake.
So anyway, that's how you do him. That's how you fix him.
Thank you very much, Bill. Thank you.
Well, I hope it helps. Now, again, what I have out here, let's save this. No. What I have here, these are my 3 guys from last night. So here he is. You can see we did a pretty nice job with him. He looks pretty good. Here's the other guy, which is one you were just working on. And you can see this is the one that I did last night. And he looks pretty good. Okay. Yeah. And there's your male. There's your third male. And what I really like is the hair. Look at the hair. I love the hair.
Yeah, I like the hair. Yeah.
The hair really works on all 3 of them. Look at that hair. It really is super. It just, all that white crud is gone. So that's basically it on these 3 figures. And again, I'm only bringing these up as a reminder of what we did last night. So what I want to do before we actually get into this, I just want to do a little bit of an explanation of this assignment because it is a 2 weeks assignment, and I want to establish what we're going to try to get done this week and what we're going to try to get done next week, because don't forget we have 2 full nights next week, and you have a full week to work on this. So I'm going to be a little bit flexible with you guys. For instance, if you get your horse really well silhouetted, and if you get your man really well silhouetted, and if you were to submit that at the end of this week, I would probably be okay with that. We do have a background to do. I'm going to try to show you how to do that background tonight if I get a chance to. And then we have to put together this magazine thing, but I'm going to show you that next week. So what I'm really concerned about this week is that you get your masking done for your 2 characters, and if possible, you start to put them together to make your centaur, all right? So for this assignment, you'll be creating your own centaur. We got the first part of that done by creating the guy last night, and I just was fooling around with yours tonight.
Right.
It's going to be put against a fantasy background, and if you remember my little character in my discussion, that little girl with the wings of sticks, that it's going to have a fantasy kind of background, which I'll show you how to handle, and you can take your time and enjoy yourself and do whatever you want to do with your background. Be sure to take advantage of the course resources to learn how to composite images together and then collect the appropriate image to create your project. I don't know what they're talking about. We have all the images here. Assignment instructions. A publisher found your portfolio online, wants to hire you to design a cover for an upcoming young adult fantasy novel about a centaur main character. You will be creating a paperback cover 6 by 9 inches. So the final piece that you're going to be doing next week is going to end up being 6 by 9 inches. Now, just so that you understand, you could size your page when you work on your work here to 6 by 9. You can do that. I have no problem with that. But I'm not really concerned about it being 6 by 9 until next week when we do the final piece. So in other words, if your centaur is put together on anything other than a 6 by 9, I'm not going to deduct points for you. What I'm most concerned about at this point, I'm most concerned about your masking and silhouetting of your person and your horse and your merging of the two together. That is what I'm most concerned about. The final output will be CMYK PDF 300 DPI in size, and you will email your client an RGB JPEG at 72 DPI. Now, I'm going to show you how to do that next week, so you don't have to worry about this week, okay? Using a combination of at least 3 of the provided images, create a rough draft of your cover artwork. The background should be in place. The horse and the human should be perfectly masked and perfectly blend together, but you don't need to have coloring, lighting, and texture in place just yet. So in other words, what this is telling you is that the most important thing is to have your horse and human perfectly masked and blended together, which is what we're going to try to accomplish tonight, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one horse right now, and I'm going to silhouette the horse and get him ready, and then I'm going to combine the two, and depending upon what time is left after I do that, I will spend the time either silhouetting another horse or working on something for the background for you, which you're going to really deal with next week. So again, let's see here, using a combination of at least 3. The background should be in place. The horse provided image after. The background should be in place. The horse and human should be perfectly masked. See, I'm trying to figure out, are they saying that they want the background in place this week, or?
It sounds like it.
That's what it sounds like to me too. So, all right, well, let's see. Let's read on and see if it clears it up anymore. Anyway, here are your images. I think I downloaded all of these okay. I have all of these downloaded okay.
Yeah, mine downloaded fine too.
And one of these horses, no, I don't think I had any problems. I got all these horses. But I can tell you flat out, the only horses you really want to work with are these two. These two guys here are just, I wouldn't even try it. Make it easy on yourself. And there's download 5. There's a 5th one here which isn't showing, but I would try to download it anyway. Let me try to download it and see.
I like that one.
Is there? Did you see it? Because I don't know why it's not there showing.
Yeah, we saw it last night.
There it is. Oh, okay. So that's that guy. I don't know why I don't see the picture of it.
Yeah, that's weird. Huh?
Yeah. So anyway, there are your humans. My recommendation, once again, is that you use either this guy right there, or this guy right there. I just don't think you're going to have any luck with her, and I don't think you're going to have much luck with this guy either. I just don't think that they're going to work out very well for you. And as a matter of fact, same with this guy. I just don't think they're going to work out very well. I'm not saying you can't try, but I mean, if you just want to make yourself, if you want to torture yourself, then try those. I'd stay away from those. All right. All right. So there's your Centaur story. This is the actual cover art that you're going to use. Okay. So the document is 6 by 9 inches, Photoshop, 300 DPI RGB mode. Place your masthead, background, horse, and human images into the document and arrange them appropriately using the appropriate selection tool. Separate the subject from its background using layer masks. Ensure that this is an overview of what the project entails. Right. Ensure that your masks are clean and the selections are accurate. And as you can see, I'm working very hard to try to show you how to get the cleanest possible masks. Mm-hmm. Save your document, DES 323, week 3. First, last, PSD, download, 72, save as GPS, whatever, submission, there it is. Here's the finished product. See, but this is where it gets wacky for me, okay? It seems like it's telling you to do all this stuff for week 3, but then it says finished sample product for week 4. So I just don't quite get it. How is it, if they're telling you to do this whole thing for week 3, then what are you going to work on next week? Nothing. So here's what the deal is, okay? For week 3, what I'm looking for from everybody is I'm looking for you guys to have your Centaur done, okay? I'm not even worried about it being 6 by 9 right now. We'll deal with the 6 by 9, we'll deal with the background, and we'll deal with the final assembly next week. Okay. Because again, this is not making any sense to me, what they're saying here. It's just not, and I'm not going to have anything to do with you all next week, so I just don't see the point. It just doesn't make sense. It really don't. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on the Centaur, okay? Do either one of you got any questions?
My only question is number 10's, okay.
It just says basically you're going to submit a JPEG file. Right. But you're going to make sure that you keep the PSD file so that if it gets requested, you can submit it.
Right. And then 9, it says go ahead and downsize it to 72 DPI.
Right. Do you know how to do that?
Yeah. Okay.
Because I can show you if you don't know how to do that. So, yeah, so that's it. Okay?
Okay.
All right. And
Um,
go ahead. Is
show
that
me?
Raven? Go ahead, Raven.
can you show me
Show you what?
how to downsize it?
Yeah. Yeah. I can show you. Watch. I'll show you right now. Hold on. Oops. Hold on. All right. So you see this picture here?
Yes.
All right. If I go to the image menu
Mm-hmm.
and if I go to image size
Mm-hmm.
and I let go, I get the image size dialog box. And right now, it has a width of 3,216 pixels by a height of 4,872 pixels. And the resolution is 240 pixels per inch. Okay?
Okay.
So if I wanted to downsize this, I would just change that number from 240 to 72. Is that what it asked for, 72, or was it 73?
72.
Okay, 72. Okay, and I would hit OK, and there it is. It just downsized it. I'm going to go edit undo because I don't want to do it right now. Okay,
Thank you.
See how I did it, Raven?
Yes, I did.
And then you're just going to save it as a JPEG. Once you downsize it, you'll save it as a JPEG. But you probably don't. You want to probably undo it because I think you want to keep it at a larger size. So don't save it. Undo it. After you get done saving it as JPEG, undo it. So in other words, what I'm saying is if you go image size, and if I change this to 72, right? 72, and hit OK, what I would do is go File, Save As, and I would save this on my desktop as Mail 1, and I'm going to save it as a JPEG, okay? And hit Save, and hit OK.
And then you're gonna undo it so your regular
Right, now this is still my my PSD. I can go Edit, Undo, or Step Backwards. There you go. Edit, Step Backwards. And now I've undone it. But if I go to my desktop, there is my JPEG, which is 72 pixels per inch, if I can get it to open up. Come on, open up. Come on. There it is.
There we go.
It will clear up in a minute. I don't know. It's just not sure why it's looking terrible like that. That looks awful. Why does that look so bad? Oh, there it is. It's just
There we go.
there it is. Okay, so that's 72 pixels per inch. That's how you. That's all you have to do.
Okay.
All right.
Good to go.
All right. So these guys I'm done with, and this I'm done with for now. I'm going to leave this open. I think because this is the one I'm going to mess with. All right. First, I think let's save this. No. I think I'm gonna fool with this guy right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go File, Open, and I'm gonna go to my desktop, Intermediate, Week 3, Horse, and I'm gonna go to Save. I got these 3 horses here. I think probably the horse that I want to use is this guy here. See, the problem is if you look at this horse, I mean, this guy, both of these running horses, none of these figures, in my opinion, make any sense for a running horse. This is a horse that's, coming up, like rearing. I don't see any picture that makes any sense. Maybe the one guy, possibly, but there, it's a rearing horse. You would think the character would be more animated. So the only horse that makes any sense to me in my pea brain is this one right here. So I'm going to open him up. Okay. Yeah. So there's my horse. I am going to unlock the horse, and I'm going to duplicate the horse because that's what I always do. And I'm going to hide the horse layer. On my layer copy, this is going to be my masked horse, M-A-S-K-E-D, my masked horse. Now, again, Raven and Lori, this is pretty much going to be exactly the same thing that I just did with Lori, and the process is going to be pretty much the same process that I did last night with my 3 guys. The reason that is because this horse has been nicely cut out and put against a white background. So
Yeah.
I have and he's a dark horse to begin with. So I mean, it's like going to be in a way fairly easy for me to go in there and mask this horse. As a matter of fact, I'm almost tempted. I'm almost tempted to just come in here with my polygon lasso tool and come in here and try to lasso this horse. You see how easy I got him pretty much all the way masked?
Yeah, I was just gonna
But you
ask
see, I lose detail.
right.
I have no way to get that detail. And see, I know that there's a better way to go. So I'm not going to do this. So I'm going to go select, deselect. Now, what I want to do, though, is I want to go, because I think I want the horse looking in the other direction. I'm going to go, let's go, edit, transform, flip horizontal. There we go. And now I got my horse looking in the direction that I want my horse to look in. Okay?
Right.
Now, I'm going to come right down before I do anything. I don't really have to do anything to this horse right now. There's no gray areas anywhere. The feet, the stuff that's down by his feet are nothing. So I don't even have to worry about that. So now I can start looking at these channels. And I could probably, if I absolutely had to, I could probably work with that channel right there. But this channel is darker and better.
Yeah.
So that's probably the channel that I would use, except when I look at the blue, that's even darker. So, you know, again, the goal here is to pick the channel that has the greatest amount of contrast to it. So what do you guys think? Blue?
I think so.
Right. It's got the most contrast, right? And by the way, Lori, you said you had horses, right?
Yes.
What do your horses look like?
Well, I've got a thoroughbred, I've got a German warmblood, I've got a Trakehner, and I've got a mini, and I've got an off-the-track thoroughbred.
Holy mackerel, you got a bunch of them. That's
I
amazing.
used to train pre-Olympic. So but this one, it almost looks like a Hanoverian type
Wow.
horse with a little bit of thoroughbred. So
Yeah,
that's
it's very
why
lucky.
I picked him. He actually looks like one that I had to put down last year. So
Oh, it's too bad. It's amazing.
they
Well,
are amazing.
So I'm going to choose the blue, and I'm just going to duplicate that blue channel, okay? And I'm going to change it to mask,
right. And then
okay? So now I have my channels there left alone, and I have this channel which is called mask, and this is the channel that I'm going to begin the effort to try to contrast this. And this should be even easier than the guy, because, I mean, there are a couple of areas by his, what do they call those, the feet?
yeah.
See how they're white stockings?
Yep.
That'll give me a little bit of a problem, but I don't think it'll be too much. So on the mask layer, I'm going to go to Image, Adjust, and I'm going to go down to Levels. Okay, Image, Adjust, Levels. Now, I don't really have to work the white too much, but I probably will bring it over just a hair to see if I could get rid of even a little bit more of that gray down there. What I really want to do is I want to start working with the black right away. And I'm going to bring the black up. Here's the thing that's happening. Can you see the tail?
Yeah.
Okay, what I want to try to do is I want to try to get as much of that tail as I possibly can. I am going to lose some of it. I ain't going to get it all, but I'm trying to get as much of it as I can. So I'm going to bring the black up rather heavily, and it's actually working pretty good. Look at how nicely that tail is coming up. See that?
Contrast.
So that's really good. That's what I'm looking for. I still have weak boots, so I'm going to probably have to do some painting, but that's okay. I'll bring it up even further. Let's see how far I can push it. I'm actually really pushing this. I'm going to keep pushing it and keep pushing it until I see gray start to appear. And you know what? I'm actually happy with that. And I'm now going to come over here and I'm going to drag the gray slider over a little bit to see whether I can even get rid of some of that gray. And now I think I've actually pushed it pretty much to where I have to go. I can't go any further than that. So I'm going to hit OK. And there it is. Now what I will do is I will come in here and I'll zoom in because I'm going to do a little bit of touch-up painting here. All right. And as you can see, I have a little bit of a problem with this. So let me do this. Let me go back into image. I wonder if I can do this. Image is just levels. Yeah, see, I don't get my levels back. I have to see if I can lighten it a bit.
Oh, you don't get your. Oh,
No, hit cancel. Let me do this. Let me go edit, undo levels because I actually pushed it too far. So let me go image, adjust, and go back to levels again. And let me bring the black. First of all, let me bring the white up a little bit. Bring the white up to about there. Let me bring the black way up again. Bring it up until it screams pretty much. That's probably good right there. And let me bring this gray over until, see, I'm running into that same problem again. You see it starting to happen?
yeah.
So bring the white up. There, you see, I brought the white up. See how I got rid of that by bringing the white up?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's better. I still have a little bit of cleanup to do, but I'm going to hit OK. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, I got my default black and white. I'm going to get my paintbrush tool, all right? And I'm still on my mask layer. I'm going to get my paintbrush tool and make it smaller. Okay, and I'm just going to come in here carefully, and I'm going to paint that out. I got to be careful how I do it. I don't want to go beyond. Paint it out right to about there is good. That's good. And then I'm going to clean up here. I got to get that painted in. The edge is where I'm really concerned. The rest of it can just be painted in roughly. That's probably good. Actually, doing good at it. Keep this going. Let me make it a little bit bigger. There we go. That's better. That's pretty good. Yeah, make sure you get it all. Click here, get rid of that. Carefully come over here, and over here, and over here. Keep going around until you get rid of all of that gray. You want it to be nice and strong. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse it, and I'm going to just very carefully come in here and get rid of that little bit of gray there because I don't really want that. I know it's very fussy. I'm being very fussy with it, but just that little bit will help. Now let's take a look and see if I got all of it. That looks all right there. Let me go up. That all looks pretty good. I'm going to come over a little bit. Did I see some gray? No, we're good. Come up. Okay. Come over. Okay. Good. Yep.
Good.
And let's come over here. Let's see his hindquarters. There we go. See, you got a lot of that hair. That's what I really wanted, a lot of that hair. Because the more I get of it, the better. Yep, that looks pretty good. View, fit on screen. And now what I'm going to do is with this selected, okay, I'm going to click on this guy here, and I'm going to hold down the control key, click it, and I get the dancing ants, right?
Right.
Then I'm going to come over here with the mask layer, and I'm going to click on the mask icon. Oop, the wrong one. Click the mask icon. There. And now it's mask. I just got to invert the mask. Image, adjust, invert. And there is my horse. Now, the question is, how well is this horse masked? So let's click this. So anyway, before I even go any further, that process that I just did, Lori, Raven, both of you guys good with that? Do you have any questions or anything at all while I'm at where I am?
I understand it now, and I found out where I messed up.
How about you, Raven? Are you good with this?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, great. Okay, so I'm going to click on this, create a new layer, dump the red in there so I can see what's going on there. Okay, so the thing I don't like about this is the fringe, right?
Right.
All right, so what we want to do is we want to defringe this. So what I'm going to do is click on that mask.
Okay.
I'm using the right mouse key to come down and choose select and mask.
Okay.
The select and mask comes up. First thing I'm going to do is come over here. This is too big. Bring that size down. And I'm going to come over and I'm going to just very carefully go around the horse's tail. Okay? I've got to be very careful how I do this. I don't want to go too far into the tail. I just kind of want to run down the edge of the tail. And what this is going to do is it's going to remove a little tiny bit of that tail. Okay? I mean, I got to make this a little smaller to pull this off.
Just like the guy's hair.
That's exactly right. And I'm going to come in here carefully and just come around and get rid of that little bit of white there, just like that, and see if I can get it in here as well. As we go. Just got to be careful doing this and not overdo it. That's all. And that's probably pretty good.
Didn't lose too much though, really.
It'll be fine, I think, because I'm also then I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to hit like right by his mane there, a little tiny bit right there, and maybe just a little bit right there. On the rest of this, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get the rest of it with this. So now what I'm going to do is come in here and I'm going to bring my radius over to like maybe 2. And again, I always go for approximately the same amount. Bring the smooth over. I bring the smooth over to, I think I brought it over to like 3. Feather over to 2, something like that. Or let's see, 1. Actually, that looks really good so far. Contrast. Bring the contrast up to. Yeah, looking good, looking good, looking good. Shift edge. Let's shift edge to 1, -1. Let's go -2. -2. Whoops! Come on. I keep getting 3. I don't want 2. I want 2. My mouth. Oh, this is really hard. I guess I'm going to have to try to put it in there by hand. Let's try 2. There we go. Yeah, and see that? Can you see what's happening here?
Yeah.
All right, now what it might be, the feather, there might be too much feather on this. Let me just try bringing the feather down somewhat. Or better yet, let me bring the smooth up a little bit. And bring the contrast up a little bit. And let me try, maybe it is 3. Let's try making 4. That's probably, yeah, actually that looks really good.
It does.
I see a couple of little spots right there, right there, right there. I see a couple of little spots. I'm going to decontaminate color. There. Did you see when I decontaminated it? You see how it knocked it all away?
Wow.
Okay, and look at the tail.
Yeah, nice.
So, Raven, you see what I did?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and you see my settings. My settings are radius 2, smooth 6, feather 0.6, contrast 8, shift edge 4, and I did it more or less visually. I sort of, applied it and watched it. I would be willing to bet you that if I really wanted to spend the time, I could probably play around with those settings. I could maybe remove a little bit of them, and I could probably have done the same thing for slightly less. But to be completely honest with you, I think this looks great. And I would be more than happy. I mean, let's put it this way. I am more than happy with the way this looks. So if you're cool with this, if you got the settings in mind and you have no questions about what I did, I'm going to hit OK. Are you guys good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Raven?
There.
I'm good too.
I don't know whether you noticed it or not, but watch this. There's the original, okay? That's what it looked like before I went into and did the select and mask. This is what it looks like after.
Huge difference. Wow.
Amazing, right? Check it out, Raven. See what I mean?
Yes, sir. I see it.
It doesn't look real good at all, does it?
Mm-mm.
But this does.
Mm-hmm.
That looks really good. Okay? So that's it. And I mean, you saw me do this. It's not hard. It's not like you have to kill yourself. Basically, you let the program do almost all the work. The nice thing about this photo is it's got a white background. What we're working with when we're working with masking is we're working with contrasts. And the contrasts that we have to deal with here are the contrast of the actual horse itself. In this case, he's a nice dark horse. Okay, so it's not hard to find his edge, especially when he's against something white. But in spite of that, when we do our extraction, even when we do our extraction with a channel, we always end up with this crappy little, pixel outline deal. Okay, it's almost inevitable that that's going to happen. Even if you do a really good job of doing your channels, you're going to get this. But when you go into select and mask, you can use the settings to get rid of that, and you end up with this. Now, I can throw this thing away. I only kept it. The only reason I kept it here was to show you. I'll leave it there. I don't need to get rid of it. Okay, so anyway, you're good with this? Everybody's good with that? No questions, no problems?
I'm good. How about you, Raven?
I have 2 more horses, and again, okay, 2 more horses. I have an hour left at 43. I got more than an hour left. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to begin the process of trying to turn this guy into a centaur. All right, so what I'm going to do is go to the window menu. I'm going to go to arrange, and I'm going to go tile vertically. So now I've got these two guys more or less side by side. Okay.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, you go to window, arrange, and tile vertically. Okay. Now the reason that I'm doing this is because what I want to do is I want to drag this layer into this composition. So I'm just clicking and dragging, and I let go, and there he's in there. See that?
Oh, wow.
Now he's huge. He's much bigger than the horse. Now I can go window, arrange, consolidate into tabs. And now I've brought it back to where they're into tabs. Okay?
Okay.
So if you want to go side by side, it's window, arrange, tile. Okay? And then window, arrange, consolidate back to tabs. All right. Now, again, I could shut this guy, but I don't have to shut him. I'm perfectly fine. I just want to get on with this work. So what I'm going to do is go, let's go zoom out. Let's go view, zoom out. Let me zoom out, view, zoom out. I know to do this because I know I'm going to have to reduce the size. Let's go image or edit, transform, scale. And there he is. He's huge. So what I'm going to have to do
Wow.
I have to drag this guy down and make him smaller. Bring him down and make him smaller. He's got to be made smaller. I don't know exactly how small. There, it's getting close. All right, so I've got to bring him down again. Still right about there is probably pretty good. Now what I need to do is I need to apply. I need to make this canvas a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go to image, and I'm going to go to canvas size. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you ever used the canvas size adjustment yet, either one of you guys?
Not me.
Okay, so what this does essentially is this enables me to make my canvas area bigger. So what I want to do is, you see how that's got that little dot in the middle?
Yeah.
That means if I change the size of this, it's going to make it go top to bottom, left to right. I want it to go just to the top. I'm going to change only the height. I'm not going to change the width, only the height. But I want the bottom to stay right where it is. So I'm going to click to place that little dot at the bottom there. See that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to set this to 14 inches and hit OK. Oh, I went the wrong way. What's the matter with me? Image or edit. Image, canvas size. I want to make it 14, and then I'm going to lock it at the bottom, and now I hit OK. There we go. Okay, so you see I made it way bigger than I need, but that's okay. Let's zoom in on this now. Let's zoom in on it, and let me get this thing more or less stationary. And what I will do is I will get this red layer, and what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to go edit, transform, scale that. Okay, and then I'm just going to drag this up until it fills up to the top for now. I'll crop it later. I just wanted to get this thing more or less to a size that I can work with. Okay, so now what I got to do is I got to drag my guy up in front of my horse. So there's my guy, and he's in front of my horse. That's what we have to do. And he looks, to me, proportionately right. But the problem that I have is the horse's neck is so thick beside him that I'm going to have to make him a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is go edit, free transform, and I'm going to have to make him just a tiny bit bigger. So I'm holding the shift key down and the alt key to make him bigger from the center out. And I think I'm going to try to go with that, hit apply. And then I think what I'm going to do is go edit, transform, rotate. Okay, and I'm going to rotate him a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to get him to where he looks right. This looks pretty right, but the problem is the horse is so thick. See what I'm saying? See where my problem is? The horse is really thick here and here. Yeah. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is let's see if we can – he looks about right. He might actually be a little bit taller than I want, and I want him to come down to about like that. That I would be happy with, but I'm having trouble because, like I told you, the horse is just way thicker than him. Yeah. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get rid of some of the horse. So here's what we're going to do. The horse, in order to get rid of the horse, I got to paint the horse black. So I got my horse mask selected, and I'm going to put the black in the foreground, okay? Get my paintbrush tool, and I'm going to come up here now, and I'm going to paint out the face of the horse.
Okay.
Okay, because I obviously don't need the face of the horse. Okay, I don't need the face of the horse. And I got too much horse here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start carving this horse down. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to do that in order to make this work.
Right.
To carve this down, and I'll have to really, get it right. I'm not going to try to get it completely right now. I'm just going to try to get it in the ballpark. And then this thing here, see this guy, the neck here is too thick, so there I'm trying to get it down a little bit. All right, now maybe what I'll do now is I'll select this guy and bring him down somewhat. There we have it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the key to this is that I want to come in here and I'm going to zoom in. All right, and what I probably should do is I should probably use the polygon lasso tool, and I should probably just sort of see if I can figure out how I want to, shape the back of this horse so that it makes some sense to me. And you don't want it to be just a straight line, so I'm going to, give it a little bit of a hook there, and then I'm going to come up like this, okay? And then I'll come back with my, maybe what I'll do is, maybe I'll go select, modify, feather, and I'll feather it by like 1 pixel, okay? And then I'm going to use my brush tool to just brush this. It's got to be black, so I'm going to change it to black. And let's see if I can brush that away. Oop, Control Z. I'm on the wrong layer. Yeah, edit, undo. This is where you got to be careful. You got to get on the right layer. You got to get on this guy. There you go. Now I'll brush him away. Okay, so there that's gone. Now let's go select, deselect. Now what I got to do is figure out what I'm going to do with this here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of follow the contour of this guy. So I'm going to come down like this a little bit, and I'm going to kind of come out at this point a little bit. This is tricky. Out, and then down. Like that, maybe. There we go. And let's go select, modify, and then feather it 1 time. Okay, still on the horse, yes. And then I'll come in here and I'll brush that away. Okay, let's see what we have. It's pretty good. I think actually select, deselect. I think I got a little bit of that. There we go. That's what I need. I need that to go away. Okay, so that is probably about as good as it's going to get. All right. So now what I got to do is I got to come on here and I got to select my, the mask, my guy. All right. Now here's where it gets really tricky. What we have to do is we have to begin to erase him, soften him into the neck of the horse. Let me go to the view menu real quickly. View, fit on screen. Is that okay? Do you think that angle's okay, or is it a little too extreme? What do you think? We okay with that?
I think it's okay.
Let me bring it down a little bit. Let's see if I can just bring it down.
Maybe a little lower.
Yeah, like about there maybe. Maybe over a bit. That's probably good, right about there. See, the problem I have right away is, again, this here, but I'm going to carve it away and see whether I can fix that. All right, so again, see, the thing that I'm concerned about is they don't really have a good horse and a good person to use. They're really not great pictures. They don't come together very well. So again, you're just going to have to make the best of it. What I'm mostly concerned about is, how well you pull it off and how well you manage to make them look good. So I'm going to zoom in on this area now. All right. Also notice that I got a little bit of crud showing over here. So what I would do with that is that's got to be black. So what I would do with that is I would get my paintbrush tool, and yeah, I'm on that. Yeah, see, I can just paint that away. See,
okay,
a little bit of crud there.
Yeah,
that's some crud that's around the edge of that picture, and you want to get rid of that. That's some of the area of the mask that didn't get masked. See, it's going to go all the way around. I'm only showing you that because you should be looking for stuff like this. You know what I mean? When you do this work, the best way to make this thing perfect is to avoid this problem. So you have to know what that problem is. It's just a little tiny bit of the white area or the edge area that didn't get covered with the mask. Come on, you. So I'm going around him, and I'm just getting rid of it. And don't go anywhere near him. You don't need to. You just got to get this. There you go. And you'll probably see that occur. Okay, so there we go. All right, so now back to him. So he's selected. Now the key to this is that I'm going to use a soft brush. So I'm going to take my hardness from 100 all the way down to like 0. So it is a soft brush, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take the flow down, way down to like, I'm going to try bringing it down to like less than 10. Let's bring it down to about 9. Okay, and what I'm going to do is, before I do anything, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make a selection. I'll explain to you why in a second. Let me just do it. I'm going to make a selection. What I'm selecting is the bulk of his body. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because I'm not going to be painting, I'm not going to be erasing up in this area here. But I don't want my erasing to impact his arm, which is very close to where I will be erasing, and that arm as well. See, I'm going to be erasing right in that area right there. See how close that area is to that?
Yeah.
By making a selection, I'm on that mask. By making a selection, then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be painting with the black in just this area here, and I won't be affecting that arm. Does that make sense to you guys? You understand what I'm doing?
Yes, just
it's very important to do this, because if you don't do this, you're not going to erase. You may bump into this arm or that arm, and then you got to undo it and go back. So make sure that in order to erase just this area here, and you want to erase it, I'm going to do a very low flow on this. This is going to be something I'm going to do very slowly. So I'm just going to come in here now, and I'm going to start painting, slowly painting this away. And you won't see it at first. It'll take a while to get this thing going. It's starting to happen.
Yeah.
It's taking its own sweet little time. Can you see it's gradually beginning to go away?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, to do this the right way, you have to take your time. And you should not always do it in one space. You should go higher and go lower, higher and lower, higher and lower. And you're blending, what you're doing is you're blending the guy's body into the horse. And you know, some of them are low, some of them are higher. But just take your time and just blend them in, okay? And be careful not to go too high. Always try to stay more on the low side and just slowly blend it in. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking it, and as a matter of fact, at a certain point, you go right to just to the bottom edge and start knocking that bottom edge out. That's the most important thing, is to get this thing to appear to blend into the horse. See how that area now is beginning to appear like it's part of that horse?
Yeah.
Right? You get that, Raven? I'm using like a flow of 9, really low flow, and I'm taking my time, and I'm trying around the edges first and slowly working in. What I want to do is I want to get rid of the most obvious line areas, which are like right around here. And see, I kind of like the way that muscle goes there, so I'm trying to preserve that muscle as much as I can. Now, I may end up making this a little bit smaller to make it easier for me, okay? But I'm just going to keep working it slowly up and down and a little higher, a little lower. You don't want to just do it. See how I'm starting to lose it here?
Right.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to go back in there, and I'm going to have to fix that. I'm going to have to repaint that in. So I'm just going to keep going, and I'm going to keep moving this out until it blends into this horse. And then I'll go back in and I'll paint it in. I'll go back and fix where I'm having problems with it. It's not the easiest thing to do. I'll probably make this a little bit smaller still. And I'll just come in here, and I'm just going to keep working this, and I'm losing that area up there. See it? But I'll paint that back. I'll paint that back.
Wow, that is really cool.
Okay, so you see how he's starting to look? There you go. Now, what I'll do is I'll just swap it to white, and I'll come in here very carefully, and I'll probably even use a smaller brush, and I'm just going to paint that back in. Yeah, just come back in and paint that back in until it comes back. And again, I have it set to very low, so it's going to do it very slowly. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do this slowly.
Wow, that is neat.
Yeah, it's hard because, again, you're dealing with a very tough subject. It's very, very hard.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is a guy who he doesn't really want to fit very well. Let's go view fit on screen and see what we got. Let's go select, deselect, and see what we got. There you go. There he is. Okay. Now, what I might do with this is I may actually go edit, transform, rotate, and I may rotate him a little tiny bit because I'm not madly in love with the position that he's in.
Right.
Walk him down a little bit. Let me try even a little bit more angle. That's probably a little bit better right there. There we go. All right, and hit apply. And there we have him. That's basically what it is. Bring him down. He actually looks pretty good that way right there.
Yeah, I think
looks
so.
Okay. There you have him. That's kind of what you're trying to do. Okay, create this guy. Now, I could go in here and I could keep tweaking this a little bit, but the bottom line is you get the general idea. This is what we're going to try to create. So, any questions? Anything at all?
I'm good so far here. How about you, Raven?
I'm good so far.
All right. So basically, that is step number one. We want to get this part done, and the better you are at doing this, the better you are at getting this horse. Now, what I could do is I could come in here. I'll try something here. Let's see. Come in here and let me just see if I can maybe clean this up just a tiny bit.
Those little shadows there.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I can clean this up just a tiny bit. Hold on. Hold on here. Got to be really careful here because I don't want to get that other arm.
Yeah, that is.
Oh. Okay, I don't want to get that other arm at all. That's good. Okay, so I got that selection. Let's go select, modify, feather it by 1. The only reason I'm feathering it is I'm softening it a little bit. So I click on the mask, and what I want to do is I want to get that a little bit painted out. So I'm going to make that, I think, black, and then I'm just going to paint. I'm going to run a little bit of paint right down here like this and knock some of him away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all I'm doing is knocking him away a little bit. And then I'm going to switch to the horse, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to paint down there, and I'm going to knock a little bit of that horse away. Oh, and by the way, I still have it set to 9, so let me bring that all the way up, and then it'll go away real fast. See that go away real fast like that?
Yeah.
See it? It's going away real fast because I got it brought back up all the way. And then I'll switch back to him, and we'll do a little bit of him just like that. And hopefully I end up with something that will look a little bit better there. Let's go select, deselect. Yeah, that looks much better. View, fit on screen. There you go. See how that looks much more realistic?
Yeah, that looks good.
So there's what we're trying to accomplish. And what I'm going to do is I have an hour, so I got like a lot of time. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to cut out the other horses, and then I'm going to play around with the background images. I'm going to show you the background images. All right.
So this is what we would turn in, right?
What?
This is what we would turn in, correct?
Yeah. So what you're going to do? Yeah, you're going to just do one of these guys. You're going to come in here and you're going to do one of these guys. I'm going to crop this now. I'm going to go image crop.
Okay, and then you turn it over on the back, and that looks kind of like a granny square blanket.
Wow. Save. Okay.
A granny square
Okay.
pillow. So we're
Save.
keeping with the theme. Excellent.
All right. So that is what you'll turn in. You'll turn in one. Select.
And last but not least, I fell in love with this, and I try to get these every time.
Somebody's
I look
talking
at it,
on the
because
phone.
If you are
Yeah,
a crocheter
something.
like me, and
Hold
you're
on. Okay.
There we go.
All right. So anyway, yeah, this is what you're going to turn in. You're just going to turn in a JPEG of your Centaur, right?
Okay. And then just downsize it to.
Yeah. So what I would do basically, I'm going to close this horse out because I'm done with him. Oh, that was the wrong one. Let's go.
Oh.
File, open. Boy. Hold on. Let me do this. Close that. Save it. No. Open it again. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So this is what you're going to do now is, since you basically got this thing done, you're going to come in here and go to image, and you're going to go to image size. And as I explained to you before, you're just going to change this down to 72 and hit OK. And then file, save as, JPEG, desktop, JPEG, right there, and save. And OK. And then see, where are you? It's right here. Double click on it, and there it is. That's what you will be submitting.
Right.
All right. And I don't know why this is there it is. That's basically what you're going to be submitting. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then go edit, undo, or step backwards to bring it back to its size. Don't forget to do that.
Right.
Because you want it to go back to size. All right. So, so there's a couple of things. Like I said, it's only 8:05. So I got I got 55 minutes here. So we got plenty of time. So I'm going to go file, open, and let's go and do another horse. And the reason I'm doing this is I want to make sure that you guys are absolutely clear on how to handle this. So this is kind of a nice horse. So let's do this guy. Yeah, this is a very nice horse. This is a great picture. I like this one a lot. So let me get this out of here, and let me unlock this and duplicate it. Okay? So now that we've got this thing duplicated, I'm just going to right away go down in and start looking at my channels. And there's that channel. And to be honest with you, I probably could use that channel. But I can tell you already just by looking at these channels that the blue channel is going to be a better channel. That's a pretty good one. I could probably use that one if I had to, but that's the guy right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very good channel. Why is it a good channel, Lori?
It creates the most contrast.
Yep. And what we're doing when we're creating masks is we're using the contrast of the image to define the area of the mask. And why are we using a channel mask for this particular photograph of a horse? Can you tell me that?
Why are we using a channel mask, did you
For
say?
this particular horse. There's a particular reason why we're using a channel mask for this horse. Just look at it. There's nothing in the background.
Oh, that's right. It's a white background. Wow.
Right. So in other words, what we have here is we have an absolute horse and we have this absolute background.
Right.
If you remember when we did week 2, there was that girl in that dress, and the one where she was walking. And I attempted to do a channel mask with her. Now, it wouldn't work. The reason it wouldn't work is because there were way too many details that were similar to her in the background. And when I pulled the channel and tried to adjust the channel, the whole thing merged into a big mud pile.
That's right.
Yeah, so you gotta learn when to use the masking technique, when and how to use it. There are several of them. There's the quick selection tool, there's the polygon lasso tool, there's the pen tool, and there's the channel pull. There are 4 basic methods that you can use, and they all are very successful. You just have to know when to use them. Yeah.
Right.
Okay? So it's just kind of important that I just mention this to you because we have the time to do it, and I want to make sure that, you understand the purpose of it. So, all right, so I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to duplicate that layer, change it to mask. Okay? And then with it selected, I am going to go up to the image, adjust, levels. Now, I could use curves, and I could use brightness and contrast, but levels are easier, and that's the only reason that I use them. They're easier. The reason they're easier is because you have a black slider, a grayscale slider, and a white slider.
Yeah.
Makes it real easy. Now, in this particular picture, I don't have any reason whatsoever to touch that white slider. I can just leave that white slider right where it is. Okay, so I'm not going to mess with the white slider at all. Now, you'll get once you do this enough, you'll get to know exactly what you're doing and what's the right way to do it.
Right.
So I'm going to take the black and I'm going to start bringing the black over first. I want to get this thing to be as black as I can. The most important thing is to get that hair. That hair is going to be a bit of a nightmare. So I'm going to bring that hair over as far as I can get it. And I think I'm pushing it when I get it to about there. Now I'm going to take the grayscale slider and I'm going to start dragging the grayscale slider over to knock some of that gray out. And I got that right there is pretty good, okay? Pretty good. I see a little bit of area there and I see something on the face. But you can see it's pretty solid all the way around. See what I'm talking about, guys?
Yeah.
Okay? So, anybody, June, Margaret, Raven, you all good? You all see what I'm doing? Do you understand? Do you have any questions about what I'm doing?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No.
Have that now? I've had Lori here and I've had Raven here. Margaret, June, have you guys done any of this yet? Have you actually gone in and tried any of this yet?
I've played around with the horse a little bit, but I've just finished masking the guy off.
How did it work out for you? Okay.
Yes, good.
You had no problems?
No.
It came out clean.
There might be a couple areas I might still need to work on, like around his hand or something, but everything else is good.
Okay, good. So you're not having any major problems. And when you were able to watch the video, did the video help you? Was it clear enough what I was doing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So basically, now that I got this to this point, I'm going to hit OK. And then what I'm going to do is I got the black selected because I'm going to paint this thing. If you look at the mask down there, the mask is black and the background's white. My white background is beautiful. I mean, it really looks great. I don't have any problems anywhere. Even look at the fine detail in that hair right there. I mean, this is nuts. It's great. It's really good. But I do have an area by his one hoof there. And everything else looks good except right by his nose. So I'm just going to get the paintbrush tool, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Where are you? There we go. And I'm just going to get rid of, using black, I'm going to get rid of that one little spot on his hoof, which is right about there. I don't know whether there's a spot there or not. I'm going to hit it anyway. I don't think there is. And then I'm going to come here, and I'm going to get that nose of his and get that out of here because I don't want any holes. I'm going to have to zoom in on this because I just can't do it without getting in closer. Yeah, see now when I bring it in, can you see it?
Yep.
There's some more crud I'm going to have to deal with. So, yeah, I'm glad I did that. That was a smart move, actually. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just paint out using the black carefully. Just going to paint out the white. Oh, and by the way, I made another mistake here. I should harden this now. I have I had it set to soft, and that's what my problem was. And I can see I've even bled there. I bled out a little bit, but I don't think it'll be a problem. I think it'll be all right. But that's what gave it away. I saw that, and I thought, why am I bleeding? Oh, it's because it's soft. So keep in mind that you have a soft setting and you have a harsh setting. Now I see a little bit of color there. Let me scroll down a bit. See it? Look at the color. See where there's a little gray showing there? You don't want any of that. So you're just going to check it. Make sure that if you see this stuff, you're going to clean it up wherever you see it. Let me go up and see. See, the rest of that looks good up there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to come down here. If you want, you can even get rid of a little bit of that. You can get rid of a little bit of that. There's some areas where the hair is showing through, but I'm going to take care of that. See, there's more there. Mm-hmm. And this all looks good. Let's come down. Did I get his front hoofs? Let me just check them. See, there's a bit right there. Yeah, because that will be a weak spot in your mask, and you don't want that. You want the mask to be nice and strong. So they look good. Let's come down and let's go over. That looks good. That looks good. I can live with that. Let's go up. I think we got it. Actually, here's a little bit. There's a little bit, and there's a little bit, and maybe there might be a little bit here, I see. Yeah, right there. And I think that's it. Yeah, let's go to view. Fit on screen. Okay. So there's your mask. Anybody? Any questions? You're good?
I'm just amazed at how well the channels worked.
Yeah, they work really good. But they're still going to be fringing and stuff. That's the whole point. Right. So now that I've got this mask done, I come over the thumbnail on my channel layer, hold the control key and click on it, and I get the dancing ants selections, okay? I am going to make sure that layer 0 copy is selected, and I'm going to click on, let me hide the background horse, and let me click on the mask. So what it does is it essentially creates the mask, but the mask is backwards. So
Right.
all I'm going to do is make sure that this is selected. You can tell it's got the little outline.
Right.
Image, adjust, invert, and there's my horse. Now, let's see what the fringe looks like, because it looks great against transparency. But the moment we put color in there,
Yeah.
it's a different story. So let me just create a layer, and let me fill that layer with red, and we'll see what we got. Okay, and actually, this looks good. There still is a little bit of, see, there's still a little tiny bit of this. You see it? The
Outline.
fringing?
Yeah.
And we know we can get rid of that. And can you see what's happening to the tail?
Yeah.
Looks pretty terrible, doesn't it?
It really gets the hair.
Yeah, it does, but you see all that fringing and stuff? That doesn't look good at all. So we got to get rid of that fringing. So here's what I'm going to do. Once again, I'm going to click on that thumbnail, and I'm going to right-click on it, or the right mouse button. Go to Select and Mask, and then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to get this tool right here, the Refine Edge tool. Now, this time I need the Refine Edge tool to be rather big, and I want it to be about that big right there. I'm going to very carefully just, again, waltz around this tail. Don't go any further in than you have to, but when you hit the spots that it's really weak like this, you'll have to go in a little bit. See, you're going to have to go in just a little bit more here. See how that you got to do that? There's no way out. You got to come in a little deeper on that fringe of the hair. Now, here's where we run into a problem. I get by his leg. I don't want to get his leg involved in this. So I got to be very careful when I do this area not to hit his body, because I don't want that to be hidden. I just want to get rid of that fringe on his tail. Just about like that. Now I can also do, and I'm just going to keep doing it until I get it to where I want it. That's probably good enough, I think. That'll probably do it. Yeah, that'll probably do it. Now, I'm going to do the hair, but to be honest with you, I don't really even have to do this hair up here, because we're going to cut his head off. The head's going to go away, and we're going to put the centaur male on this guy. So, but I'm just doing it anyway, just for the heck of it, to show you how to do it. So I'm not going in too deeply. Just I'm going around where the hair is white, just like that. And that's about as good as it's going to get. Now I come over to my properties, and again, I'm going to go to radius, and I'm going to try about 2 here, because it doesn't look too bad. I'll try 1. And see already? Can you see already how nice that is? Already, just by bringing the radius in 1. Let me smooth it 1. Let's try 2. That's good. Let's feather it 1. That's good. That's good. That's good. Contrast, bump the contrast up 1. And let's shift it in 1. -1. Whoop, 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 whoop. There we go. Let's decontaminate the edge. And look at that. Can you see what it did? Can you see it, guys?
Yes.
Hit okay. And there you go. Look at that. Before, look. Before, okay? And after. What do you think? Pretty outrageous, isn't it?
Great. Yeah.
Now, I got to tell you, in all honesty, there shouldn't be anybody in here who can't do that, because it's not, there's nothing, there was no fancy finger work on it. It was basically just duplicating a channel, taking my levels and adjusting my levels to make the background darker. The most work that I put into this was the actual painting of the areas in my mask, and then the very careful painting with the adjust edge tool to get that hair feathered out like that. So it's really not that difficult a thing to do. Okay, and let's see. Let's go file. open, and let's go to week 3. Let's go to human, male 1. Let's see what male 2 is. Yeah, I did him already. So let's see, male 1. What did I use on him on this one? File open. Was it male 3? No, I don't know. I don't know whether male 3 would work. See, this is the problem. Let's try male 3 just for the heck of it. You know. All right. So anyway, I'm going to close that. Save it. Yeah, let's save it for next week. Okay. So let's go. All right. So I got male 3 here, and I got this horse. Okay. So I'm going to go to the window menu again. Go to arrange, and I'm going to go tile all vertically. So now I have these people side by side. I got my little horse over here, and I got this guy over here. So what I think I'm going to do, I got to be careful. I got to make sure I get rid of the tool. What I think I'm going to do with this layer is I'm going to go edit, transform, and I'm going to flip it horizontally there because I think that works a lot better. So now what I'm going to do is very carefully just click on this guy, drag him, and drop him into my other composition. And there he is. Okay, so again, anything difficult about what I did here? None of this is hard, right? It's all so far so easy, right?
Yep, so far so good.
Okay, so now I'll go to Window, Arrange, and then I'm just going to consolidate all into tabs. And now what I got is I got my guy, and I have my horse. So I'm going to go View, zoom out real quick, and this time, again, I'm going to go to Image, I'm going to go to Canvas Size, and I'm going to click at the bottom of this anchor to put the anchor at the bottom. I want to increase the height up here. So I'm going to go to the height, and I'm going to make the height, say, 16 for now. And then I'm just going to hit OK. And you see how it made it much bigger. Now, I noticed something else here. I noticed that I got the same problem here that I had with that other guy, with my other picture. So what I'm going to do to get rid of that is click on the mask here, and with the black, I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to paint that line away. You see me painting the line away?
Oh yeah,
that little line is just something on the edge of that photo, and you're going to see it's going to appear. Yeah, it's going to appear again once I get this guy in frame. So watch what happens. So I'm going to select this layer and I'm going to go edit. Let's go to transform and scale, and let me bring this up high again. Bring it up to there again. Okay, and now apply. Let me get this thing, go to view, fit on screen. All right, now let me get my guy in place. Oop, wrong layer again. Keep track of your layers. Bring this guy up. Okay, and this guy is going to be scaled. Edit, transform, scale. And let me see if I can scale this guy down. Bring him down until he's going to fit on that horse. I would say that's probably a pretty decent size. I don't know, maybe a little bit big. What do you guys think? A little too big still?
Maybe. It's just so hard to tell at first.
Yeah. I also got to, let's go to Edit, Transform, Rotate, and let me rotate him a bit because he needs to be more in this angle like that, I think. Mm-hmm. That's probably a little bit better. Yeah, a little bit better like that. There we go. Okay. And bring him down slightly. Something like that's probably pretty good. See, again, these are not great photos. And apply. Yeah, these photos don't match up real good. So what I'm going to do now that I've done this, I think probably the way to go is to just come in here and carefully crop this thing. Yeah, so I'll go to Image, Crop. Okay, and now let's go View, Fit on Screen. There we go. So there we have this. Oh, and by the way, you see, again, see that little line right there?
Lines.
All that is it's a little bit of leftover residual picture that didn't get covered. So I'm going to, with black, just paint it out. That's all. Just come over here and just paint it right away. Okay? I don't see any over here, and I don't see any over there, and I don't see any over there. So let's go select, deselect. All right. So now what I got to do is I got to get rid of some of this horse. So I'm going to get my horse and carefully go into my horse, and I'm going to start painting the horse away. Now, it may look weird, but I'm on my mask, Okay, so I'm painting behind this guy. That's the important thing. I'm painting behind this guy. And I got to do this kind of carefully. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to see whether I can maybe figure out how to get this thing to work. So I think what I'm going to do is come in here with my polygon lasso tool, and starting somewhere in here, I think I'm going to come up like this and come up maybe like that, and then come up like that and come over like that, like that, like that, like that. And now I think I can paint that away and probably be all right. Yeah, that's okay. And I also have to go select, deselect, and I have to get rid of that face of the horse. I see a little bit of the face of the horse showing right there. And now I got a problem right here. So I think I'm going to leave this for the time being. And I'm going to try to, let's go back to this guy. And let's see if I can go edit, free transform. And let's see if I can just maybe turn him a little bit more. Turn him just a little bit more. So again, you got to try to figure out how this is going to work. Let's go zoom out, view, zoom out. Yeah, it kind of looks ridiculous no matter what you do, you know. You bring them down.
It's just a bad picture.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you're stuck with these pictures. See, it almost looks like these. It looks almost like his back is broken. So I actually can't. I got to go this way. I'm stuck.
Yeah.
I got to go in this direction.
Right.
Then this is actually now this is better.
Yeah.
That's much better. So yeah, I was going the wrong way. It almost looked like I had a broken back. This is a little bit better. All right, so I'm stuck, guys. I mean, this is it. You're stuck with it. You got to go with this. So now it's the same process. I'm going to come in here, zoom in, and I'm going to get my polygon lasso tool. Make sure you got the mask selected. And I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to just basically make a selection around his body. Now, the reason I'm making this selection is I only want his main torso to be exposed for editing. Okay? I don't want to be able to edit his arm, and I don't want to be able to edit that arm. So now that I've got this selected, I'm going to paint this with black, but I got to go in here. I got the black selected. I'm going to come in here, select my brush, and I have to bring this thing down way, way low. I'm going to bring it, again, down to about 9. And I'm just going to come in here with a smaller brush, and I'm just going to start carefully painting this guy away. And this is a long, involved process. And yeah, see. Oh, you know what the problem is? Again, let's go to window. Let's go to history. I know what I did wrong. I actually didn't soften the brush. So here, let me go back here and let me get the brush tool back to polygon lasso. There we go. Okay, go to my hardness and set my hardness down to 0. Okay, I didn't set the hardness to 0, and what happened was I was seeing steps, and that's because I didn't have my hardness brought down. So now what you're going to do is just come in here and start eating away at the contour of his body and try to blend that body carefully into the horse, just at the point where, you know, he meets the horse. It's tricky. It's a hard thing to do, but you can do it. You just got to play with it a little bit. You carefully tease it in and do it slowly, a little at a time. Blend them in. And if you paint something too far out, you just paint it back in a minute. I can come back in and I can paint it back in. But just it. Just bring him in until he looks as convincing as you can get it. Now the other problem is that the horse is very brown and he is very pale. So what we can do is we can add some color to him later on. But right now you just want to try to get him blend in. And that probably looks all right. That's probably halfway decent. You get the general idea?
Yeah, yeah.
Select, deselect. Let's go view, fit on screen. Okay, so there's your second guy. There he is. And what we can do is we can try to color him. I'm not exactly sure how to color him. Let me try this. Let me select this thing. And what kind of a selection am I getting here? What's all this nonsense?
Looks like a top hat.
Yeah, it does look like a top hat. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Oh, I know why. Because there's no black out there. That's what the problem is. There's no black out there. Let me go to hardness and let me paint this in. Huh. Oh, I know why. Again, soft and this. There's your problem. Make it hard. Yeah, there we go. And now let's select it. And now I can paint it in. I think it'll paint in. All right, so it's not. It's just giving me nothing but trouble. All right, so again, let's go select, deselect. And let's see here. What do I want to do with this? Let me... Oh, I got this weird selection. Let me see here. There we go. Let me go select, deselect. There we go. Okay, so now what I want to do basically, there we go. Okay. I'm going to paint this in. So I'm filling this in. That's all I'm doing because it's not helpful with it white like that. It's not going to help me. I'm not going to be able to get what I want to get done. Wow. There we go. Let me try it now. Ooh. Okay. That should do it. I think I got it. Now let's go back to... Okay, so now it looks like it's selected, although I do have a little bit of stuff down at the bottom and the top there. I'm not exactly sure. But it's not, I don't see it, so I'm not worried about it too much. So what I want to try to do is maybe try this first of all. Let's try picking a color. Let's go in here and actually, you know what? Let me try this. Let me try picking a color off the horse. All right, so I got that color right there. Let me dump that into that layer. That's the right layer right there. There we go. Okay, and now let's see what happens if we go to color. There we go. Well, it's a little bit better. The color's a little bit strange. Let me go select. Oh, you know, I wonder if I can just go. Hue saturation. Let's see if I can maybe make them a little bit better. That looks a little bit better. A little bit. Now it's a little too red. Let me see. Yes, that's better. There we go. That's a little bit better. It's a tricky one. That's probably pretty good. There you go. That's a little bit better. It looks a little bit more like he's matching that body. So in this particular case, I created a color layer. Okay, that's basically what I did. Now, I didn't even play around with the overlays. I mean, I could have tried darken. Let's see what dark. See, that doesn't work. Darken don't work. Multiply works, but it's way too dark and it's too flat. So let's see what color burn looks like. Not really. Let's try another one. Linear burn. Probably color's probably the one that's good. Nope, that's no good. Let me try overlay. Overlay's not bad. Overlay is actually not bad. I think maybe I'll stay with overlay. Maybe just adjust the opacity a little tiny bit. That's good. That's much better. Okay, so what I did essentially was I created a layer. After I fixed my selection, I created a layer, filled it with a color that I got from the body of the horse, okay? And then I used a blend mode, in this case, overlay and 90% to get his body to look a little bit more like he matches the horse. You guys got that? Is that that too crazy for you, or can you handle it?
No, it's not too crazy. I'm not laughing at you, Bill. I'm laughing at the pictures they gave us.
They're horrible, aren't they?
They are just, it's like you would, I mean, I know it's an assignment. I know it's to to test us and our ability and what we've learned, but it's just like
It's a nightmare.
you would think that they'd offer something that would at least fit a little better, or the colors are a little more similar, but
Well, no, actually, no, I don't agree with that. Part of the problem that we have when we do this is that very often the pictures just don't match, and it is part of our responsibility when we do these projects to make them match. I mean,
that's like a client. I mean, they might say, "Hey, make my daughter into instead of a." Make her into a fairy on a horse, and they might give you a picture of a horse and a picture of their daughter dressed up in a costume, and you're going to have to figure out a way to.
Well, I have to tell you, I've had a number of situations where some similar things like this have occurred, and it's always difficult because part of the problem that there are multiple problems that goes on here. Number one, you have to silhouette the elements. All the elements. That horse has to be silhouetted. The body of the human has to be silhouetted. And then you have to merge them together in a believable way. And then you have to adjust the color on one or the other so that they kind of match. And, again, the photos of the guys are lit totally different. They don't have the colorations at all that that the horses have, and as a matter of fact, you've got these horses which are wonderfully animated, and then you've got this guy who's sitting there and he's not animated at all. You would think that if the horse was doing this beautiful animated, rear, that the guy would have his arms doing something more than just hanging at his side like this. But if you go to the other one, you got this, the other one, let me open it. Let me see if I can find him.
Oh, I don't remember which one it was.
I think I put him in the horse. Let's see where it is here. If it's in here. Where was he? Where did he get saved? Centaur. Oh, there's the other guy. That's the other body in there. File open. Let's see here. Centaur 2. Oh, that's where I used him. So I used him differently anyway. So I guess it's probably Centaur 1. Let me see if I can find him. Centaur 1 or Centaur. That's probably it. Yeah, there he is. So you see again, this guy. See his arms? His arms aren't animated. He's not. None of them are animated. They just all stand there. But the bottom line is you have to kind of make this guy fit and work and add color. See, I did the same thing to this where I have a color layer, and I tried to pick up the colors of the horse so that I could get the horse colors to somewhat match him and make him look a little bit more reasonable. So again, this is what you're going to have to do. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I still have a little over a half hour. I'm going to end up probably doing the third horse for you, but before I do this, what I wanted to do, let me close this guy and close this guy. And I don't think I need this guy anymore. Nope, and I don't need him anymore. So you're okay with, you understand how to go about doing the Centaur?
Yes.
Okay. And you do the best you can with this. This is something that, again, you don't have great photos to work with. The horses are good photos. And actually, there's nothing terribly wrong with the photos of the people, but the colors are so off. And the other problem is they're just so unanimated,
Right.
All right. So the final thing, save this. Yes. Okay. So I'm just going to put it in there like that. That's fine. All right. So file open. And let me go into, come on. Come on, here we go. I don't want a new document. Did I hit that by accident? File open. Come on. There we go. All right, let me go into week 3, background. Okay, so I have some backgrounds here. Let's see what I got. Final composition. I think this is the actual piece that I did. Yeah. Okay, so you see that this is what we're going to produce next week. This is your final piece, guys.
Okay.
Okay, so I only am showing you this because I have a little bit of time left, and I figured I'd at least show you what we're going to be doing. So you're going to be putting together this final composition. So before I do that, though, I'm going to close this. What I am going to do is go file open, And let me go into background. I think the background is what I wanted to show you. Yeah. Okay, so here's the background. So what I did literally was I opened up one of the pictures right here. All right, one of the pictures right here. This is the one picture that I wanted to use. And what I did was I took a second picture and I tried to incorporate the second picture into it. So that I came up with kind of a fantastic background. And I did that by, see how I did it? I masked part of the sky. All right, now I'm gonna actually do this. I'm gonna actually work on this, but I just thought I'd show you what I was doing. Now this one here is the one that I really like. I think this one works a lot better. Okay, so anyway, this is my background, and I will show you basically how I did this. It's masking. Again, it's masking is what it is. All right. So what I'm going to do is, let me go file. Let me see what that other one is. This is background, final composition. What is final? Let me see what final is. Oh, it's this. Okay. All right. So let me go file, open. And let me start off by, I guess, let me open that up. Now, there's 4 of these pictures. I didn't use all 4 of them. You could certainly use this as well. I just didn't. I really wanted to use this one and this one. But I also did this one just because I wanted to show you I did more than one. This is the one I like, and I really like this shot. So I thought maybe I'd combine these 2 pictures. So I start off by opening that picture up. Okay? That's what I get at first. I'm going to go File, Save As. And I'm going to call this background. And do I have something named background already? Yeah. PSD? No, I don't. So I'm going to hit save. Okay, and hit OK. Now, I always like to do this. Go to the image and go to image size, and we'll see what we have here. So this is 20 inches wide by 13 inches high. Okay, so keep in mind that in the end, this is going to be a 6x9. So eventually, we're going to resize this thing, and we're going to bring it down to size. But in the meantime, just so that you understand, we have plenty of resolution here. The resolution is 300 pixels per inch. That's perfect resolution. This is a nice big image. This could almost be a poster. That's how big this thing is. It's pretty big. So that's good. All right. So, but again, my point is, whenever you do this kind of work, it's always a good idea for you to check and see what you got. So I'm just going to hit OK. Now I'm going to go File, Place, because I'm actually going to place another file into this file. And I'm going to pick the one that I like, and I'm going to hit Place. And he comes in, and you can see it's a little bit different in size than the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to accept this, I think, place it, okay? And then I'm going to unlock that picture, and I'm going to go Edit, Free Transform. And I'm going to come in here, hold the Shift key down and the Alt key down, and I'm going to bring that picture down just a little tiny bit like that. Okay? So now I have one picture slightly bigger than the other. I'm going to come up here with my rectangle tool, and I'm going to carefully just drag, and I'm going to create a rectangular shape that's within the front picture. Can you see how I'm in the front picture there?
Yep.
Okay. Image, crop. And now select, deselect. What I've done essentially is I've cropped the pictures down, and I have the background picture in the same proportion as the foreground picture. Okay? That's my ultimate goal, is I want this foreground picture and background picture to be, you see how they're both, see how that's both, right, like that?
Right.
Yeah. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to mask this, this sky into this, I want to actually paint it into my composition here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask this layer, that's the top layer, I'm going to mask it, and then because we are going to be painting this thing out, all right, what we need to do is we need to, I guess I need to get black. And let me get my paint tool here. Let me see. There, you see how that paints it out?
Okay, yeah.
Let's go edit, undo paintbrush tool. And what I want to do is I want this thing to be nice and big, so I probably want to go a little bigger. That's way too big. Let's go to about, like, that's way too small. A little bit bigger. It gets so damn big so fast. That's probably too big too. This is hard to do. That'll work. And I'm going to make it soft. Make it soft. And then what I'm going to do is come up here and I'm going to go for the flow, and I'm going to make the flow very light. Again, very light. And I'm just going to come in here now and I'm going to start working through this white background area here. And I'm going to slowly start eating away at some of this. I'm going to try to avoid getting rid of all the trees, although I can bring the trees back. Can you see my image starting to show through?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep working around in here and try to, you know, move it around so that you don't stay in one place.
Right.
Okay. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to blend that picture in to the background, trying to keep some of the background showing through. And at the same time, I don't want to remove all the foreground, but I'm trying to create a slightly misty looking sky. See what I'm trying to do here? Bringing that image in. See? Just keep working on it like this. Okay? And you can even come down in here a little bit if you want.
Sure.
But just be careful. They'll keep working around, and some of the area you're going to knock more out, and some of the area you're going to knock less out. But try to do it in a way that and now something interesting starts happening here. Can you see that thing here?
The rays.
So, yeah, so once you start seeing the rays, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to bring those rays down deeper into my composition, because that, see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Okay, now watch. There's my picture, okay? And here's my composition that I'm creating. See, and I could even do this a little bit to help that illusion.
Right.
Okay? So what I'm creating is a kind of a morphed background of clouds that is, and take a look at the mask. Let's see if I can get the mask up here to show you. See what the mask looks like?
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So I've just sort of painted away at the mask to try to bring that picture in.
Right. Makes sense.
All right. So that's, you know, and then if you wanted to do it, you could come in here. I could come down with a lower size. Okay. If I wanted to, I could come down with a lower size and I could switch it to white, and I could start painting back. I can start painting back some of these trees if I wanted to. In other words, you don't have to just, you know, paint them out and accept it that way. You can bring some of these trees back. See? Just come in here and paint a little bit of these trees back in white and bring the trees back up. Now, if I had gone a little bit further with this, which I didn't do, it probably would be even better. Because right now what I'm getting is it's okay, but I could have painted the sky out more and it would have probably had greater impact. But I'm bringing some of the trees back. Okay. Just bring a little bit of those trees back. Try to give it some kind of an interesting look.
That is really neat.
That's all. You just keep playing with it until you get something that you like. That's starting to look pretty good. But what's cool about it is you get these rays, these nice rays. And then if you think it's too much there, just switch it back to the black. And once again, you know, maybe bring the size up a little bit, and just paint back some of those rays. You know, I kind of like the idea of those rays.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to bring those rays back. I like them a lot. I think that really helps this. So I'm going to bring them in as much as I can, because that's the element I'm looking for. And then, you know, you can come in here and you can just kind of like nip away at this a little bit. You know what I mean? You don't have to show all those. You can just bring it, you know, like that.
Just working in some
Yep,
sections.
keep working it in and let some of that sky do its job in the background and, you know, become part of your composition. And then, as I say, if you want, you can, And actually what I'm doing here is I'm painting them back in, going the wrong way. There you go. Bring a little bit of this stuff back, and maybe carefully just bring a little bit of this tree back here slightly. Got to be real careful not to overdo it. That's why I have the settings low. And you see, it really looks pretty cool. What do you think?
I think that looks really awesome.
So it's just the kind of thing that you play with. You come in here and you play with this a little bit, and you'll get an effect that's kind of interesting. See, and you just locally bring some of this stuff back, and again, you know, see what it's looking like. So you're seeing a good bit of that sky coming through there. Now I might want to come in here, and I might want to bring this back a little bit, you know. Bring this back a little bit. But you get that kind of great look. And then ultimately what we're going to do is we're going to go File, Open, and let me go find my guy. So what we're going to ultimately do is, let me see, Centaur. I think this is the one. Yeah, so I'm going to go Window, Arrange Tile, vertically. There we go. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to select all of this. And create a layer mask for the whole thing, a group. Okay, and let's see here, background JPEG. What am I working on here? Background PSD. I don't know which one I'm dragging it in at this point. I think it's this one. So I'm going to come in here with this guy, drag him into there. There we go. Okay, and let me go View, or I'm sorry, Window, Arrange, Consolidate into tabs. There is my guy. There is my little man. Okay, and what I would ultimately be doing, I probably would have sized this image down before I brought him in, but I just wanted to bring him in a little bit so that you could see what we would ultimately be doing with him. And then perhaps what I would do with this guy is I would maybe select him. I would select this guy. Let me see if I can get him selected. Let me find his mask. Hold on. Let me go to his mask if I can get his mask. I'm not going to get his mask, am I? Let me just see if I can get him selected. Yeah, see, I got him. There we go. There. Okay, so I got him selected. Now, what I could do here is I could, oh, geez. There we go. All right, what I could do is come in here and create a new layer up on top. Create a new layer up on top. And I could maybe just dump some white in there. Let me just make this white. Let me make this thing white. And let me dump white into that. There we go. I'm going to go select, deselect. Okay. Now let's zoom in on this. I'm just trying to figure out what I would do with him. Now with this thing selected, I would go select, let's see, filter, blur, and let's try Gaussian blur. There we go. Hit OK. And let's see, maybe what we would do is try that's kind of interesting. See how that, do you see how that kind of colors him in?
Yeah, and it makes it look not like it's just placed there somewhere.
Right. So you actually got to play around with, try to play around with the different settings and see which setting you like. You know, you might prefer this where I'm actually, you know, I haven't really completely played around with my with my filters yet. I'd have to really play around with my filters. But again, we're gonna be working on this next week. I'm just have some time to fill here, so I'm playing somewhat. I don't think color's gonna work very well, but let's try it. Yeah, no. Well, actually, that's kind of interesting.
It's interesting. I actually kind of like the color of it.
See, the whole point is you're trying to get this guy to blend into the overall setting here,
Right.
and actually, now that I look at it, with him kind of dulled out like this, it sort of does. He sort of does blend in a little bit better this way. So maybe color might be a good possibility. But I'm just going to play a little bit more and see, because I still got a little bit of time here. Let's see, linear light. See, some of these just basically don't get you where you want to go here. Hard light. Let's see here. Lighten. Nope. See, these don't work. So my guess would be, that I'm probably going to go in the area of like color burn. I think the color's too strong. I actually think color looks cool. I like that. I really do like that. That I think because of the coldness of that scene, because of the amount of blue, I think what happens is that really makes me believe now that he's in that environment.
Right.
So anyway, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up making this kind of a scene, okay? That's what we're going to do. And again, we'll work on this next week. I just wanted to show you, as much as I could about the horse and the human, and I also wanted to give you an idea in case you wanted to try doing this, because the assignment does say to put the composition together. So,
Right.
I mean, if you don't get, let me put it to you this way, guys. If you don't get the composition together, if you get the guy together, if you get your main character together and you submit that, and I'm happy with the way you do it, then I'm going to give you a passing grade. If you get the guy done and you get him into a composition and it looks good like this, fine. That just means you're just all that far ahead for next week. But either way, we're looking for at least you to have your horse and your guy silhouetted and basically put together properly. That's the most important thing at this point.
Okay.
We still have 2 days next week, and we have an entire week to finish this. So I'm mostly concerned that you do a really good job on getting your character put together.
Right.
I guess I'm done unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about. I'll call it a night.
I'm good. Just thank you so much, Bill. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. And thank you for your help in the beginning as well.
No problem. June, Margaret, you okay?
No, everything looks good. Thank you. I appreciate your help.
Okay, you think you know what to do?
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, if you have any problems, email me, and I'll see what I can do to help you out. I won't be in Blackboard tomorrow, but I will be in Blackboard Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You probably should have my hours by now, right? So don't be, afraid to come in if you have to. All right?
Okay, Bill. Thank you.
You have a good night.
You guys too. Thanks so much.